welcome to Bible Breakdown. We're doing Psalm 132. This psalm is titled, David and Zion Chosen, a Song of Ascents. So if I had to choose some words to describe the psalm, I would say loyalty, covenant, commitment, faithfulness, promise. That's the main idea here. Thankfully, in this Bible, there are little devotionals that certain chapters have. And in this devotional for the specific chapter, or psalm, I should say, they kind of explain what the theme of the psalm is. So I want to read that before I read what I wrote as my interpretation. And I did not read this before I wrote down anything. So there might be some similarities that will come up. Okay, so the devotional says, Psalm 132 is a song about promises. It is about a promise David made to God, a vow not to rest until he found a place for the Lord, a dwelling for the mighty one of Jacob. And that's Psalm 132, verse 5. Then it continues to say, what David is searching for is the Ark of the Covenant, a wooden box containing reminders of God's promises and provisions for the people of Israel. The Ark was a symbol of God's presence. David vowed to find it, to keep it near, and he did just that. And they reference 2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 12 to 17. Then it also says, but more than this, Psalm 132 is about God's promise to David. God made a covenant with David that his future generations will inherit the throne and that God's presence and provision will be with them. So with that being said, this is the different things that I wrote about this psalm. So for verses 1 to 5, I wrote that it's a telling of David's loyalty and love towards God. And it talks about the oath that David made to the Lord. And that's verses 3 to 5. And it says, I will not enter my house or get into my bed. I will not allow my eyes to sleep or my eyelids to slumber until I find a place for the Lord, a dwelling for the mighty one of Jacob. Then to continue for verses 6 to 10, I wrote that it highlights the desire to experience the covenant of God. So in verses 7 and 8, it says, let's go to his dwelling place. Let's worship at his footstool. Rise up, Lord. Come to your resting place, you and your powerful ark. So from those two verses alone, I feel like the sense of urgency of trying to be in the presence of God. Moving on to verses 11 and 12, I wrote that loyalty to God will open doors. So those two verses say, the Lord swore an oath to David, a promise he will not abandon. I will set one of your offspring on your throne. If your sons keep my covenant and my decrees that I will teach them, their sons will also sit on their throne forever. So more specifically in verse 12, it's talking about if you follow what God tells you, there is promise at the end of everything. And you never know how that loyalty can set up generations after you. So it's best to just be loyal to God and loyal to what he's telling you to do. And then to end the chapter for verses 13 to 18, I wrote that it shows how God is committed to his people and faithful to his promise. So in this section of the psalm, it talks about where the Lord chose to be his resting place, which was Zion. And from there, he says, I will make my home here because I have desired it. I will abundantly bless its food. I will satisfy its need with bread. I will clothe its priests with salvation and its faithful people with shouts of joy. Then I will make a horn grow for David. I have prepared a lamp for my anointed one. I will clothe his enemy with shame, but the crown he wears will be glorious. God here is showing his commitment to bringing his people joy and to just satisfying the needs that they may have. So like I said before, being loyal to God has its benefits. If you're loyal to God, a lot of doors can be open to you. So we just need to make sure that we're staying faithful to him. But that is all I have for you guys. That is the end of this psalm. I will see you guys tomorrow for Psalm 133. I love y'all. God loves y'all more. Have a great night.